Hello anybody and welcome, I'm Christian from ISI and this is a post-mortem of my Ludum 45 entry, LightBots. This video will be covering the process of creating LightBots in 48 hours, so for the sake of the one viewer watching this, let's get on with it. Now, the theme was announced and while it might surprise you, I hated it. It was one of the few that I downvoted, and like any good participant, I complained and wandered around randomly for 10 minutes trying to come up with a good idea. I eventually went with my initial idea from the design document, which I am now glad I did. The idea was simple. As outlined in my design document, it was to be a game where you start in an abyss as a little glowy orb and have to take control of bodies to progress. That's literally what I wrote. To elaborate, the idea originally was to have the character start in an empty void, and by taking control of the things that were there, you'd begin to populate the world. But, as boring as that sounds, I decided that I would tend away from anything procedural in nature, as that soaks up a lot of time and usually doesn't turn out all that great. So instead, I decided to make a puzzle platformer, as I'd made one about 4ish months ago and had some experience. So, the new and improved idea was a puzzle game, where you assumed the control of little characters to solve simple puzzles. I had planned to have some nice narrative, but due to time constraints, it was scaled back. Day 1. In terms of game jam first days, it went surprisingly well. I went straight into designing the main character and its respective movement system. I went for a sort of floating orb character which made it pretty easy to make the graphics and to code it. However, this was my first time making a 2D game in Unity, so it took some time getting used to. I then moved on to little characters, buttons, and switches. Also, I made a simple tile set for the levels, made some detail items to put on the walls, and made some pipe tiles to use as some nice industrial details. So, by the end of the first day, I had a playable game, I had the main character, all the functionality between the little characters and buttons, I had tiles for the maps, all the physics were good, but as I was getting ready to go to bed, I realised I'd forgotten to record, as I was using my laptop and you have to press the little function key to get the functions to work, so I had no footage. Day 2. Ready to keep working on my game. I didn't bother starting the recording today as I didn't think there'd be all that much point, as I'd gotten so much of the game already finished. Anyway, I started by making some of the first day's graphics better. I changed all the details to little platings as it looked way better, and began working on the main menu, which I got up and running pretty quickly. And while messing with the keybinds the day before, I thought that maybe it wouldn't be too hard to add controller support, and it wasn't. What was difficult was adding alternate text functionality to display different button prompts. It's always the thing you don't think about that gets you. Anyway, at this point I pretty much went exclusively level designing and only programming once-off things that I needed for a specific level. But then my roommate came in, nearly 10, and asked me to finish up and go to sleep. And I said no, and I continued designing levels. I was a little worried at this point that I might not have enough time to finish enough levels, so I made the ending of the game with the intention of adding in new levels in between, so that I could make as many as possible before I had to submit. But then again my roommate came in nearly midnight, begging me to finally go to bed. So out of pity I conceded and went to bed. Day 3. Wait, I hear you say. I thought you said 48 hours before. Well, yes, you're right, but if you remember at the beginning, it started at 11 in the morning, so I got to day 3. Anyway, times on the side, I did the boring thing of designing more levels, right up until 15 minutes before the deadline, so that I could playtest and upload my game. And then, the submission hour, which I seem to forget exists every time. So I spent the extra hour learning how to build for WebGL, which was relatively easy, and it's always a huge bonus to your ratings. Finally, the compo was over. I can now eat and rest. But then straight back into rating other games and reading feedback on my own. I got a lot of really great feedback from people who had played my game, and it was great. However, the general trend seemed to be that the gravity was too high on the character, which made it a little tough to control and made the platforming elements of the game less enjoyable. But there was some that said they thought the game was great, and that they wished it was longer and the narrative was more fleshed out, which I would have loved to do, but the time constraints thought otherwise. Though it's always nice to know that other people enjoy playing your game. Now, after finishing my game, letting friends and family play it, and reading feedback from other people, I decided that this game would be worth developing post-Ludum Dare. So, if you're interested in seeing more of this game, then subscribe, because I plan on starting a devlog series for it where I'll be redeveloping it from the ground up to be a more fleshed out version with feedback and fresh ideas included. Anyway, that's all for now. Goodbye anyone, and good luck with your dreams.